right, moving to our first image titled Growing Family. And judges, if you can enter your scores now. And with scores of 79, 82, and 82, this image will have an overall score of 81, placing it in the silver category. Moving to our next image, titled Those Cheeks. All right, and with scores of 86, 84, and 83, we have an average score of 84, placing this image in the silver category. Our next image is titled The Power of Motherhood.
Done. Done.
I'm done as well.
Thank you. And with scores of 78, 81, and 81, this image will have an overall score of 80, placing it in the silver category. Our next image is titled Blossoming Beauty.
Done. Done.
Done.
And with scores of 80 across the board, this image will have a final score of 80, placing it in the silver category. Our next our next image is titled Win the World with One Kiss.
I'm done.
Done. Done.
Thank you. And with scores of 82, 79, and 85, this image will have an overall score of 82, placing it in the silver category. Our next image is titled Newborn.
Done.
Done. Done.
Thank you. Okay, and with scores of 80, 78, and 80, this image has an overall score of 79. Our next image is titled Our Entire World.
I'm done.
Sorry, one second. I'm not seeing where I can put my score in here on this.
Yep, just a okay. And with scores of 88, 80, and 89, this image has an overall score of 86, placing it in the silver distinction category. Congratulations to this maker. Our next image is titled Gucci.
I'm done.
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 All right. And with scores of 80, 79, and 80, this image will have an overall score of 80, placing it in the silver category. Our next image is titled Bright-Eyed and Bushy-Tailed.
Done.
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 And with scores of 82, 83, and 90, this image will have an overall score of 85, placing it in the silver distinction category. That's an 82. Good. All right, congratulations to this maker. Our next image is titled Baby Boy Blue.
Done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 78, 78, and 80, this image will have an overall score of 79. Our next image is titled Sunny Lovely Moon.
Done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 86, 79, and 85, This image will have an overall score of 83, placing it in the silver category.
Call a challenge on this one, just because it's spread across a few different categories.
Yes, thank you. All right, challenge has been called. So we will speak in the benefit of the maker first, please, and we'll go to Tara.
So I found that the color harmony in this one was really beautiful with all the yellows. Everything matches and flows together nicely. The lighting on baby's face is really beautiful. We've got that light coming down from the top. We see the highlight side and the shadow side. Nice soft transition. The styling here with all of the stars, baby's headband, as well as the little prop, all ties in very well. And then we've got the moon prop that the baby is into. So it just has this really nice cohesive feel about the image. And I think that everything was handled really well. The styling, the editing, the exposure, the color balance, it all works well together here.
Thank you, Tara. And we will head to Tracy, please, for critique.
Thank you. I don't really disagree with anything you said, Tara. First impression was, wow, I love the color harmony in this. It's beautiful. You read it gorgeously. Everything you said was bang on, except what the reason I marked this a little on the lower side is I felt that the star prop was actually distracting. And my eye kept going to the prop rather than baby. And then there was like just a little too much negative space in that moon, which is not so bothersome, but because my eye kept gravitating towards the star prop, I kept dragging my eye down into that negative space. Hence the reason I did mark it a little lower. But based on what you have said, I would like to revise my score. I didn't even, I don't think I even noticed the star headband. Like, wow, I didn't like that being in the background as well as on her head that's a really cute detail that I missed. But yeah, that's my comments.
All right, thank you so much. And we'll head back to Tara, please, for rebuttal.
Yes, so I noticed that a little bit as well. The one thing that held me back on this one was sort of the composition overall, and just not quite in that rule of thirds. But I felt like everything else in the image definitely made up for it, and I definitely feel like this image is worthy of a merit.
Okay, agreed. Yeah. I would like to change my score.
All right, thank you. We'll take this moment, please, to rescore this image.
Done.
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 All right, thank you. All right, and we have revised scores. So with scores of 86, 86, and 85, we now have an overall score of 86, pushing this into the silver distinction category. Well done to this maker, and thank you so much for a very valid challenge. All right, we'll move to our next image, titled Astounded.
Done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 75, 77, and 82, this image has an overall score of 78. And this image is a page critique. So we will go to our judges for commentary for the maker. And let's hear from Tara, please.
Okay, I think anytime that we're seeing kids and different playful expressions, it's always very impactful. And this one also very sweet. This little, I think it's a boy. My son also has long hair, so I'm used to him being called a girl, but I think this is a boy. Um, very, very cute child. I like the centering of the composition with the like the surprised mouth. I think those work well together. What's holding it back for me is the lighting on the face. We're getting a dark shadow in the eye on our right. There's a bit of a dark shadow in there. One catch light is stronger than the other. And most importantly, we're seeing some areas that look blown out. I'm not sure if the side of his nose, excuse me, is blown out there, but we're definitely losing that back shoulder. So perhaps different wardrobe considerations might have made him stand out a bit more, just modifying the lighting. And then also the front sleeve. I can't tell exactly what's going on there. There's some texture. I don't know if it's just the wrinkles and then it's out of focus, but it's drawing my eye down there and trying to figure out what's happening there. And a little bit of the like shadowing with the way that the lighting's coming in. We're getting some weird shadows because of the long hair that are just creating extra little distractions. But I would encourage this maker to keep trying these different fun expressions because I'm sure the parents love this image anyways. And there's lots of different fun things that we can do with kids that are of an older age that I love that we don't get to see with the newborns.
Thank you so much. And we will head to Tracy, please, for commentary.
Yeah, Tara said it really well. The one thing that held it back for me as well is number one, that shadow in the eye where it almost appears like it's a black eye because of how it's coming across. So that was very distracting. And again, that shoulder being a little on the hot side. But I absolutely think it is an adorable expression. I also love when kids give you those fun looks or silly faces. I would love to see this in color personally. I think this could pop as well in a color image. I think it's really fun. Again, yeah, the maker should continue to do these expressional sessions because they are very fun, and I know parents absolutely love them. And this kid looks like he's a character for sure. But yeah, those little minor details is what really kind of brought it down, just being a little hot on the one side of the body and those funny shadows that can be affected with that long hair kind of draping across for sure. But yeah, fun, absolutely fun image.
Thank you so much. And we'll move to Tamarind, please. I think you may be muted, Tamarind, if you are speaking currently.
Oh, I was speaking. Okay, that's good. Thank you for saying something. Um, yeah, I think everybody, Tara and Tracy said it very well. The black eye shadow situation um is unfortunate, and I've definitely had that happen. So I feel the maker's pain on that one. And the loss of that back shoulder just being a little bit blown out. But there's so many amazing details here. Like I even love the messy hair. Like that does it for me because we're so often trying to make sure everything is perfect and just the messy hair and the expression. I would actually love to see like a sequence of images that were taken of this child to see the other fun expressions. But yeah.
All right, thank you so much. We will move to our next image, titled Come Fly With Me.
Done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 86, 92, and 85, this image has an overall score of 88, placing it in the silver distinction category. Congratulations to this maker. Our next image is titled Cub Cutie.
Done.
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 All right. And with scores of 82, 79, and 82, the overall score of this image will be 81, placing it in the silver category. Our next image is titled Dream Baby.
Done.
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 Thank you. All right, and with scores of 79, 80, and 86, this image has an overall score of 82, placing it in the silver category. Our next image is titled Sweet Dreams.
Done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 75, 77, and 75, this image will have an overall score of 76. The image is a paid critique, so we will go to our judges again for commentary for this maker, and this time let's start with Tamarind.
Okay, can you hear me this time?
Yes.
Okay, good. I love that this baby has this adorable little smirk. I think that's a great capture. We all know how hard it is to capture those little newborn expressions, especially a smile. Those are always the photos that are out of focus for me. I love the color harmony. I love that it's like white on white. The whites are actually, they look pretty good on my screen. That's not easy to do. Mine always end up looking pretty creamy. So well done to this maker. I feel like the baby's skin looks a little flat, a little washed out. Um, I'm not sure if there's another word I'm looking for there. Maybe somebody else will have it, but that was the thing that sort of held this back for me was the baby's skin tone.
Thank you. And we will move to Tracy, please.
Thank you. I agree with Tamarind. The baby's facial expression is absolutely adorable. And 100%, I swear, those ones are the ones that are always out of focus for me too. So frig, man. But this is so cute. Her face, her little curled up lips, and what held it back for me, or just make sure with your whites on whites, is watching those hot spots. And I'm just seeing a little bit of a blown out on the wrap there, as well as one of the little ears. whenever you're cropping in on a baby, watch that bonnet. So we've cut in on the top of the bonnet there, and that I find a little distracting. So either go in all the way or pull it back so you have the full frame of baby there. So cutting off that tiny bit of that bonnet was just a little distracting, and one reason I marked it on the lower side. I agree with you, Tamara, when you said that the baby's face has a little bit of like almost looks washed. There's a little bit of desaturation. We all know that babies' skin tones are very funny. They can be oversaturated or undersaturated. So in this one here, this little newborn, just in the creases of the cheeks and the forehead, I see a little bit of gray tone. So maybe washing in a little bit of color in Photoshop to just give her a little more, a little spray tan uh, would be fantastic on this. But beautiful image overall. Well done to the maker on posing that baby perfectly in this one of those little baskets.
Thank you. And we'll move to Tara, please.
Yeah, so I agree. Super cute expression, and want to give this maker kudos on the um, the overall feel of this image. The soft whites and the everything's coordinated, and trying to get the whole white on white color scheme is not easy to achieve. So just a little more control with the light, like has been spoken about, to bring down those highlights. And a couple of things that are really catching my eye that haven't been mentioned yet are the top left corner where the fluff kind of goes over the edge of the basket. It looks like there's been some manipulation there. With the light coming from that side, you'd expect that fluff to be one of the brighter points, and it looks like it's been darkened down there, and there's a harsh line right on the edge of the fluff. So a little bit of post-processing issue there. And then I'm also distracted just by the opposite corner of the basket where there's a little white piece of, I'm not sure if it's wrap or if it's fluff coming through the basket, but it's like a white piece of fabric in the darkest part of the image, which draws my eye there. So just cleaning up little details like that would really help elevate this image. And I think as far as posing and expression, this maker's on the right track and with their styling. So just keep working on those technical details and you'll be better off next time.
Thank you so much. And we'll move to our next image titled Our Precious Gift.
Done.
Done.
Thank you. And with scores of 79, 79, and 80, this image will have an overall score of 79. Our next image is titled Hummingbird and Little Flower.
Done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 78, 75, and 75, this image will have an overall score of 76. Our next image is titled The Travelers.
Done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 87, 76, and 82. And we do have greater than a 10-point spread here. So we will go to an automatic challenge. And we will speak in the benefit of the maker first. Please, let's hear from Tara.
I really love the styling of this image along with the title that tells us a little bit about what's happening. And the background with the old suitcases and then the wooden floor that's got some imperfections. I feel like it just all goes so well together. And then even the colors in her dress that are pulling on the warm colors, the yellows and the reds. So nicely styled as far as wardrobe. The little girl's expression looking at the dog is super cute. The dog looking up at her. We've even got catch lights in the dog's eyes as he's looking up. I think it's just a really sweet image and a really great story that's being told here. And I didn't think that there was anything that would really hold this image back from receiving a merit.
Thank you. And we will head to Tracy, please, for critique.
Thank you. First impression of this image, I absolutely loved it. Because I also love dogs, so that, pulled at my heartstrings. But as I began to go across the image and really look at it, I wish they had switched the subject and the dog so that the little girl was facing towards the light. That shadow that is, we kind of lost half of her face in that shadow, and we see a lot of the side face. So that really pulled it away from me to have her kind of just lit too much of on the one side, almost like a backside. Really, the dog is lit so perfectly, and I just want to switch them so that she's got the better light. And then when I kind of went over towards there's like two suitcases that have like the locks are like up, and my eye just kept being drawn over to those little latches because the background is so dark that they really popped out for me. And I love the dark image overall. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and I do love the how this maker has brought the dress in to pull out all these little tones of the image. So I absolutely love the image. It's these small little details that really distracted me from giving it a higher mark here. And I don't know if it's just my screen, but I feel like she's got purple nail polish on, and I kept looking at her fingers, and I could see like a purple tone in there, and I can't really zoom in, but maybe that's just my old aging eyes. And yeah, so those are the small details that really pulled it back for me. But yeah, if you want to shoot me a little rebuttal.
All right, thank you. And we will head back to Tara now for
I definitely agree with you about the lighting. I initially also wished that the light was coming from the other side so it fell across the little girl's face nicely. However, then it might not have lit the dog as nicely. It's always the challenge when you've got two subjects and they are facing different directions. They're facing each other in this case. The little latches on the suitcase, I also noticed that would be a super quick little Photoshop touch up that I agree likely should have been taken care of. I didn't feel like it detracted from the overall vision of the image, though. We know what they are. It's not like it's something random that you're trying to figure out what is that. You know, it's the lock on the suitcase. So it didn't distract my eye for long. I did feel like overall this image was worthy of a merit, and it is currently sitting at silver, I think. So just with the big point spread there, I think it'll end up in a merit spot still, but just wanted to fight for this maker to maybe get a little bit higher of a score here.
I appreciate the fight. I think it's nice to be able to have these discussions, and just also it allows me to kind of see what your points are. And yeah, very appreciative of that. So if we want to rescore, we can rescore.
Yep, we will take this moment now to rescore this image. Please just indicate when your scores are in.
Done.
Done.
Was that all three? Sorry.
Sorry, I had a technical issue, but I am.
All right, thank you. All right, after our challenge, this image now has scores of 86, 80, and 82, leading to a final score of 83. And this image will stay in the silver category. Congratulations to this maker. Our next image is titled 2 Becomes 3.
Done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 79, 83, and 83, this image has a final score of 82, placing it in the silver category. Our next image is titled Curly and Snug.
Done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 85, 84, and 86, this image has an overall score of 85, placing it in the silver distinction category. Congratulations to the maker. Our next image is titled Extra.
Done.
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 All right, thank you. And with scores of 79, 82, and 80, this image will have an overall score of 80, placing it in the silver category. All right, welcome back to Shailee. Tara is now on a break, and our next image is titled Woman of the Amazon.
Done.
Done.
Thank you. And with scores of 87, 88, and 88, this image will have an overall score of 87, placing it in the silver distinction category. Congratulations to this maker. Our next image is titled We Got You.
All done.
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 Thank you. Oh, Tracy, do you mind clicking save again?
Go, go, go.
Thank you. All right, and with scores of 83, 78, and 78, this image has an overall score of 80, placing it in the silver category. Our next image is titled Peep-a-Boo, I See You.
All done.
Done.
I am also done.
Thank you. And with scores of 79, 75, and 80, this image has an overall score of 78. Our next image is titled Slumber.
Done.
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 And with scores of 80, 80, and 83, this image will have an overall score of 81, placing it in the silver category. Titled Hole in One.
All done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 82, 79, and 84, this image will have an overall score of 82, placing it in the silver category. Titled Dear Little One.
Done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 80, 85, and 83, this image will have an overall score of 83, placing it in the silver category. Titled Radiating Love and Joy.
Done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 81, 78, and 78, this image will have an overall score of 79. Titled With Daddy and Mummy.
Well done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 83, 85, and 80, this image will have an overall score of 83, placing it in the silver category. Titled The Beautiful Farmer.
Done.
Done.
Thank you. And with scores of 79, 81, and 75, this image has an overall score of 78. We do have a paid critique here, so we will go to Shailee, please, for commentary for this maker.
I thought that this image had really nice impact. Like I was like, wow, this is great. You know, first impressions, I loved it. Baby's so sweet. Just some of the things that kept it out of a higher category for me is that baby is a bit uplit. So we've got the light coming from lower down in the right lower right hand corner, so we're getting that kind of ghoul lighting across his face, which is a shame because that would have really made such a big difference with this image, I'm sure. But I really like the styling. I think the colors are quite harmonious, and his little outfit and little stuffy is just very, very cute, and overall quite a cohesive image.
Thank you, and let's hear from Tamarind, please.
I love all of the like warm tones and everything. I think that part's really quite lovely, and the baby looks very relaxed. You can see in his face, he's just sleeping so peacefully. Again, the uplighting, like that was previously mentioned, and the suspender that's kind of twisted there. And the shadows are maybe a little harsh. Those are the things that held it back for me.
Thank you, and we'll hear from Tracy, please.
Thank you. I first impression, I thought this was really sweet, and like I liked the title, and immediately I saw the, you know, he might as well have a little piece of straw coming out of his mouth, and if his hands were behind his back, like he's kind of just like up into the light kind of vibes there, and that's as if he's on hay. Like immediately I was like, perfect title. Well done on the title, because I was brought into like farm vibes right away. Um, I did miss a little bit of that uplighting. I was just so drawn into how creamy baby had looked and how relaxed and just the nice posing, the little outfit. I don't even mind that his little strap is a little twisted. Overall, I just thought the maker did a beautiful job posing this little baby, but definitely bring that light around so it's coming down the face as opposed to, and if it was coming down the face, it would have definitely given a lot more impact to the image for sure. Cute shot. Well done to the maker.
Thank you. All right, we'll move to our next image, titled Peaceful Expectation.
Done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 78, 75, and 79, this image will have an overall score of 77. Again, this is a paid critique. We will head to Tamarind, please, for feedback.
So I actually really like Mom's positioning in the image. I like that she's not centered and she's sort of balanced by that sort of larger tree on the left-hand side. I do find it's extremely washed out for me, and while I'm sure Mom loves that dress and it's probably so extremely comfortable for her, um stylistically, from a photography standpoint, it's definitely would not be my first choice. And the other thing I would maybe do differently as well is her left arm, where we can, the one that we can fully see, because she's got it pressed against her side, it's a little bit pancaked out, and we always have to be very careful of women and arms, especially pregnant women. So I would have pulled that left hand back up a little bit further on her hip to release some of the tension in that the bicep shoulder area. But overall, the expression is great, and I think it almost looks like it maybe was taken during like the middle of the day as opposed to in the evening where the lighting is a little bit nicer. And kudos to this maker, because I will not shoot outside at this time of day because I am terrified of it. So I stick with the evenings, but that may have helped a little bit with the washed out vibe as well.
Thank you so much. And we will head to Tracy, please.
Okay, I agree with the dress. Definitely does not match the vibe of the image. Maybe in a more of a city view, this dress could have really popped, but in this nature view or the landscape, it's just distracting from the fact that we're looking at a maternity image here. The tree for me was really a distraction as well. I want to be focusing on Mom and not having my eye drawn over to the left here. And Tamarind is right. It is kind of blown out in the background, so, and blown out on her arm as well. So we're losing a little detail in that. My only other critique here is just with any pregnant mama, really watch that hand that's cradling the baby bump, and just trying to avoid getting too close to the nether regions there, and pulling that hand back like Tamarind suggested, giving that little triangle in between the body and the arm really would have accentuated the bump a little more on this image. Yeah, I mean, it looked like it was a beautiful sunny day, but I think for this image, just the wardrobe definitely was a distraction from what could have been a higher marked image for sure. Maybe just exposing down as well.
Thank you. And we'll move to Shailee.
I thought that I just love the expression on the mom's face and the connection that she obviously has with her bump, like the way that she's looking down is really sweet. I do agree with what the other judges were saying in terms of the lighting and posing. I do like that there's some pretty rim lighting around her hair, which is really nice, but you know, the background is a little washed out compared to sort of, you know, how dark her hair is, and the tree, you know, doesn't maybe need to be as much of a focus. And yeah, agree with the dress and the styling and everything. But yeah, certainly captured that connection, which is always really nice.
Thank you so much. We'll move to our next image, titled Sleeping Beauty.
Jen?
Done.
Jen?
Thank you. And with scores of 82, 80, and 81, This image will have an overall score of 81, placing it in the silver category. Our next image is titled Beautiful.
Done, but I also have to pop off after this.
Yes, of course.
All done.
Done.
Thank you. And with scores of 75, 77, and 76, this image will have an overall score of 76. Our next image is titled Floral Kissed Dreams. And we welcome back Tara from break.
Done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 83, 83, and 82, this image will have an overall score of 83, placing it in the silver category. Next image is titled Plum Tuckered.
All done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 78, 77, and 75, this image will have an overall score of 77. Moving to our next image titled With Little Friend.
Done.
All done.
Done.
Thank you. And with scores of 80, 80, and 84, this image will have an overall score of 81 and will sit in the silver category. Titled Pretty in Pink.
All done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 80, 78, and 74, this image will have an overall score of 77. And this is a paid critique. Let's go to Shailee, please, for commentary for this maker.
First impressions, I thought there was, quite a lot of impact. I think the baby is so cute sitting in the little bowl there. I love the color harmony, that baby pink background and the little outfit and the matching headband. I think it all works really, really well together. I think, baby's eyes are nice and in focus. Some of the things that kept it out of being a little higher for me is just that I can see that background has likely been color changed in post, and that's from like the little halo, I think, that we're seeing of that pink hair on top. But it is really like hard to see unless you're really getting in there. So, and there's a little bit of this shadowing behind baby's right arm, maybe with a little color on the arm that shouldn't be there. So there were just a couple of little things that detracted from the overall mark for me, but otherwise, like super cute, like that little baby.
All right, thank you. And we will move to Tara, please.
Yeah, I agree with everything that Shailee said. I think the eyes may be a little bit over processed as well. We have quite a bit of contrast between the outer ring and the iris of the eye. I feel like maybe there's been some manipulation there and maybe also been sharpened in post as well. I feel like we have the eyes in focus, but then the lips are a little bit soft. And same thing, just kind of looking down through her body. One hand is in focus, the other one is soft. um, the focus is just throwing my eye for a loop a little bit. And also on the outfit on our left side, it seems like there's a lighter patch there. Again, I don't know if that was a post-processing thing, if it was dodged, but it's lighter there and doesn't look like it naturally would have been. So that's catching my eye as well. And then I feel like if we just had a little bit more breathing room as well, I feel like we're a little bit cropped close on the head. I always like to see a little bit more head space. But again, super cute baby, super cute styling, just a few technical details to work on.
Thank you so much. And we'll head to Tamarind, please.
I agree with pretty much everything that the other judges have said. Obviously, she's adorable, and I really like that pink knitted outfit. That's really, really cute. And the headband coordinates so nicely. I agree that the eyes look over sharpened. To me, it seems like the background is maybe just blown out, or it almost seems like the light is like almost more on the background than on baby. And like Tara said, I would have given a little bit more space at the bottom and the top of the image. Like it's like super picky, but I would have liked to have seen just the bottom of that basket, which then would have also given the head a little bit more room as well. So, um, yeah, and the skin, I think, I don't know if it's just because of the lighting, it looks a little of like an off color as well. Although we all know that some babies have like translucent skin and it's very hard to deal with. So overall, it's very cute, but those are the things that held me back.
All right, thank you so much, ladies. Great critique. We'll move to our next image titled The Sweet 6 Months.
All done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 80, 84, and 86, this image will have an overall score of 83, placing it in the silver category. Our next image is titled Caught in the Act of Cuteness.
Done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 85, 86, and 85, this image will have an overall score of 85, placing it in the silver distinction category. Congratulations to this maker. Titled A Mother is Born.
Done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 80, 79, and 84, this image will have an overall score of 81, placing it in the silver category. Our next image is titled Sleeping Beauty.
All done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 81, 80, and 81, this image will have an overall score of 81, placing it in the silver category. This is a paid critique image. Let's head to Tara, please, for feedback.
Okay. The styling on this and the whole idea is so creative. It's not something that we see every day. Incorporating the word in the image. I feel like the title almost doesn't even fit this image, and just love would have been simple and to the point. But the main thing that I really, really wish had been taken care of with this image is the gradient that we have from the top left down to the bottom right, where it goes from dark and blue to brighter and a little bit warmer, probably more around the true white tone. So we really have half the image looking blue on the left side of baby, and it really detracts from the overall impact. And then also it's not the whole image, like the word itself is not quite centered within the image. So those two things, if those had been taken care of either when photographing it or in post, that would have brought the impact of this image up to a really high score for me. I feel like it has a lot of potential here, and I'd love to see this maker try something similar in the future and just keep an eye on those kind of things. And regarding that blue tone, we also see a little bit of that in the back of baby's hand. I don't know if it's bruised maybe, but definitely something that could be taken care of in post, and then just covering up that little diaper. We can see the blue line there. So we know the baby is peed, which is not what we want to be concentrating on when we're looking at an image like this. But I feel like the overall effort and the potential impact is so strong here that I really just wish that it had those couple little details that we could bring this image up to a higher score.
Thank you. And we'll head to Tamarind, please.
Yeah, I agree with everything Tara said. The two things that held me back were that the shadowing on the left side, and also for some reason my eye immediately went to the fact that the L is not lined up with the other letters, and it's like, I don't know if it's like my OCD, but it's bugging me. So, but other than that, I like the way baby is posed. I do see the blue or the discoloration in the back of baby's hand that Tara mentioned. I hadn't noticed that before, but I see it now. But overall, I like the way the baby is posed. You can really see her face. She's looking very relaxed. And overall, it's absolutely beautiful. And I think, like Tara said, those couple of little tweaks and it could be amazing.
Thank you so much. And we'll move to Shailee.
I think the other two judges said most of the things that I had in my mind. I agree. The potential for this image is really high. It is unique. It's different, and I loved that about it when I first saw it. But technically, there are some issues. That L, I wish it was on the same line as the rest of the letters as well. That gradient, the blue. it would just be really nice if it was white, and some of those flowers sort of being cut off, but I'm not sure whether it's intentional, and just, yeah, evening up that cropping. But yes, everything else has been said. Really sweet image though, so much potential.
Thank you so much. All right. Our next image is titled "A Flower Blooms."
Done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 84, 90, and 85, this image will have an overall score of 86, placing it in the silver distinction category. Congratulations to this maker. Titled "White Swan."
All done.
Done.
Sorry, was that all three?
I think so.
Okay. And with scores of 77, 78, and 79, this image will have an overall score of 78. Our next image is titled "The Making of You."
All done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 84, 83, and 84, this image will have an overall score of 84, placing it in the silver category. Titled "But First, a Nap."
Done.
Done.
All done.
Yep.
And with scores of 73, 78, and 74, this image will have an overall score of 75. Our next image is titled "Showgirl."
All done.
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 All right, thank you. And with scores of 82, 77, and 80, this image will have an overall score of 80, placing it in the silver category. Titled 2 becomes 3.
Done.
All done.
All right, and with scores of 82, 80, and 85, this image will have an overall score of 82, placing it in the silver category. Titled Twins Combination.
All done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 79, 79, and 80, this image will have an overall score of 79. Titled What I Miss.
All done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 80, 78, and 82, this image will have an overall score of 80, placing it in the silver category. Titled Dreamland.
Done.
Done.
Thank you. And with scores of 83, 90, and 90, this image will have an overall score of 88, placing it in the silver distinction category. Congratulations to this maker. Titled Hold My Heart.
All done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 86, 88, and 86, this image will have an overall score of 87, placing it in the silver distinction category. Congratulations to this maker. Our next image is titled Love You, Little Brother.
All done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 81, 82, and 87, this image will have an overall score of 83, placing it in the silver category. Titled Laid Back and Loving It.
All done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 82, 80, and 85, this image will have an overall score of 82, placing it in the silver category. Titled Twinning with Teddy.
Done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 80, 80, and 84, this image will have an overall score of 81, placing it in the silver category. Titled Shielding.
Done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 84, 82, and 83, this image will have an overall score of 83, placing it in the silver category. Titled Daddy Armor.
All done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 78, 74, and 82, this image will have an overall score of 78. Titled Velvet Kisses.
All
Done.
Done.
Thank you. With scores of 80, 80, and 76, this image will have an overall score of 79. titled Pure Love.
Done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 84, 83, and 82, this image will have an overall score of 83, placing it in the silver category. Our next image is titled Comfortable.
Done.
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 Thank you. Scores of 79, 78, and 80. This image will have an overall score of 79. Titled Pure Innocence.
Done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 79, 78, and 82, this image will have an overall score of 80, placing it in the silver category. Titled Glam.
All done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 81, 77, and 80, this image will have an overall score of 79. Titled Newborn.
Done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 77, 77, and 82, this image will have an overall score of 79. Titled Unlikely Duo.
Can we pause for a sec?
Yes, of course. All right, so we did have a discussion about sharpness in the image, in particular looking at baby on viewer's left. of the frame, the yawning baby, in terms of sharpness of the eye line. So looking at our high resolution image that was submitted in a bit more detail, it's determined that the eye line isn't entirely sharp, but is not lacking in sharpness to the point that it would be an unacceptable image. And please let me know when your scores are ready.
Done.
Done.
Thank you. With scores of 81, 80, and 84, this image will have an overall score of 82, placing it in the silver category. Titled Taking the Lead.
Well done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 80, 79, and 82, this image will have an overall score of 80, placing it in the silver category. Our next image is titled Serenity.
All done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 75, 76, and 78, this image will have an overall score of 76. This is a paid critique. So we will go to our judges for commentary, and let's hear from Shailee, please.
I thought that this was a really lovely image. Mama looks beautiful. I love her dress. I love the color harmony. Her posing is also really nice. Some of the things that kept it out of an award category for me is uplighting. I feel like the light is bouncing off the white floor, or maybe the light is too low, I'm not sure, but we're seeing some strong light at the end of her nose, which is giving not a terribly attractive shadow up over the top of her nose. So if that light was just a little bit higher, that would be a lot more flattering with the shadows on the model. And she's really off to the right of the composition. So I'm feeling like I'd love to see a little bit less negative space on that left-hand side. I understand she's sort of looking into the space, but still I'm feeling like that cropping is not quite working, and maybe just a little bit more room under her feet may help. And she has a little bit of a yellow cast to her skin. But other than that, she's, yeah, really sweet looking mama.
Thank you so much. And we'll head to Tamarind, please.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. Definitely the lighting was the first thing that sort of caught my attention as being off, unfortunately. And possibly this maker is working in a low ceiling space. And I say that because I've definitely been there where I just cannot get my light as high as I would like. So I understand if that's the struggle. I think the only other thing that that kind of jumped out at me was just the mom's face. And I say that with love because she doesn't look unhappy, but there's something vacant, whether, maybe it would have been helpful to have her looking down a little bit at the belly. I don't know, there's something that's lost in the face a little bit there for me. So But other than that, the color harmony is nice. The monochromatic cream on cream is really beautiful. The dress is very lovely. It's very relaxed feeling and soft and feminine. But yeah, just the lighting was the biggest thing for me.
Thank you so much. And we'll head to Tara next.
Yeah, I agree with everything that's been said so far. I think her pose was well done, popping that front knee to give her that bit of a S-curve shape is exactly what we want to see. Her hands are nicely positioned. The styling of the wardrobe with the light background all works towards that Serenity title. As mentioned, though, I just don't feel like her face matches the title as well as the rest of the image does. And then as far as a couple other details that could have improved this image would be fixing the bottom of the dress and just making sure that it's all spread out nicely. And oh, there was one hair on her shoulder that looks like it's sticking. It's like a vertical line. It keeps drawing my attention. If it's like the end of her hair, the edge of her shoulder, and there's this line going right up. So that's drawing my eye there. That'd be a quick, simple fix in Photoshop. And what was mentioned with the cropping, it does feel like it's kind of in between a center crop and a rule of thirds crop. So if we had either a tighter crop or we had more space on all sides to give it more breathing room, and then it would look more like she is looking off into the distance and maybe not feel quite as it's just like a discontentment that I feel like something's not quite right. Not that it's terrible, but little tweaks to improve.
Thank you so much. Great commentary. All right. Our next image is titled Sweet Smile to the Camera.
All done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 80, 84, and 84, this image will have an overall score of 83, placing it in the silver category. All right, returning for day 2 of judging. Currently we have Tara, Tracy, and Tamarind on deck as judges, and we will move to our next image. So judges, when you're ready, please enter your scores.
Done.
Done.
All right, and with scores of 84, 75, and 75, this image currently has an overall score of 78.
Call a challenge on this one.
All right, thank you, Tara. So we will go in the benefit of the maker first. So Tara, we will hear from you, please.
Hey, I love the overall tonality of this image. The color harmony works really well. We've got the wood background with the other natural textures and tones, and the styling of the wrap and the bonnet with the string, that nice little S curve there. Can tell that a lot of thought was put into that. The lighting looks pretty nice on baby's face. I feel like overall, just the cohesiveness of this image really works well together. And I'm just curious why the other scores were a bit lower. So let's hear.
Thank you. And we'll head to Tracy, please.
Thank you. Um, I love the tonality as well in this image, but what held it back for me is we have a little stuffy here on the left side of the screen. I think it's a cow. It's so lost down in the pocket that the little hand of the stuffy is a little, it becomes bright, and I actually don't even know what it is. It's so dark and so lost, at least on my screen it is, that I cannot see what the stuffy is, and that really drew the focus away from me. With the tonality of the whole image, I loved, but I found the skin tone on the newborn was oversaturated, and it has a little more of an orange tinge to their face, and I got a little bit of a shine. And with that one eye on the left hand of the screen, the left eye, that when we're looking at it, it has a little bit of like a popped highlight. If the light was just turned over a small amount and we lifted the shadows on the rest of the face on that side, I feel like there would have been a much more of a balance in the baby's face. So those two items alone were very distracting for me, and I felt like I wasn't looking towards baby and more towards the deep shadows and the highlights. So that's why I held back on a higher mark on this image.
All right, thank you. We'll head back to Tara, please, for rebuttal.
Yeah, I see what you're saying about the stuffy, and that did draw my attention initially as well. So that's maybe something that I didn't take into consideration as much as I should have. Um, I just the overall feeling that this image gave me, the warmth and the care that was taken in the placement of the bonnet and the wrap, um, overtook for me, I guess. I do still feel like this image is deserving of a merit, but I do see your points as well. The light could have been moved to a slightly more flattering position as well, but it's not uplit. It's not terrible. We do see highlight and shadow, and it's not, I don't find it unflattering on the baby's face. So yeah, thank you though. I do see your points as well.
All right, we'll take this time to rescore this image, please.
Done.
Done.
Are we still waiting, or is everyone ready?
Yep, we're all done.
Sorry, I'm only hearing two of the dones, but that's okay. Okay. And with scores of 82, 75, and 76, this image will have an overall score of 78. All right. Titled Bliss.
Done.
Done.
And with scores of 87, 83, and 85, this image will have an overall score of 85, placing it in the silver distinction category. Congratulations to this maker. Titled Tucked In.
Done.
Done.
I am also done. I'm done.
Thank you. With scores of 78, 82, and 81, this image will have an overall score of 80, placing it in the silver category. Titled Dusty Blues.
I'm done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 82, 84, and 84, this image has an overall score of 83, placing it in the silver category. Titled, Who Needs Shoes When You Are This Cute?
All done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 80, 76, and 79, this image will have an overall score of 78. Titled Forest Fox.
All done.
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 And with scores of 78, 85, and 87, this image has an overall score of 83, placing it in the silver category.
Can I call a challenge on this one?
Yes, of course. So we will go to Tracy, please, in the benefit of the maker first.
Awesome. So I know we all kind of scored it not too far off, but I wanted to see if I can get this a little higher. Just for a few reasons. Number one, the placement of baby on this little bed, fantastic. It is can be difficult to have this pose, but also in an outdoor setting, fantastic. The lighting is absolutely gorgeous on this baby. I love it. I mean, if I'm nitpicking, if I want to just crop this baby just a little, like I want to twist it, just so that bed is fully aligned on the bottom. But I think it's just such a gorgeous image, and having the bushes around the baby just kind of like frame this little newborn is absolutely stunning. So I'd love to see this maker get a higher mark on this image.
All right, thank you. And we'll go to Tara, please, for critique.
I agree. It's a super sweet image, and initially, the impact overall when I first looked at it was quite strong. Then, as I started to look a little closer at the details, there were numerous things that took away from that for me a little bit. The first one is the tail and the bright whiteness of it. It almost looks like it has a blue halo around it, and that's drawing attention away from baby's face. And I feel like the lighting is coming from a little bit too far behind. Like we have a brighter spot on the baby's forehead and the tip of the nose and the cheeks, but it's shadowed underneath the eyebrows. If the light was brought around and to the side a little bit, then we'd see a more flattering light fall across the face. There's also, like you mentioned, the bed with the tilt. That's something too. The blanket that the baby's lying on could have maybe been a little bit neater if we'd tucked that piece at the top end there, underneath a little. And then there's also a couple of things, a couple of leaves on the left-hand side, right at the edge of the frame. And anytime there's something that's brighter at the edge of the frame, it draws your eye out and away from the focus of the image. So just a few quick little clicks in Photoshop with that healing tool to take out those bright spots on the edges would have really helped with the framing of this image, which is beautiful with the leaves around. I agree with that, but a couple extra things that could have really taken this up a notch.
Thank you so much. And we'll head back to Tracy for rebuttal.
Thank you. Yeah, I see those leaves on the side there now that I didn't initially see. And yeah, you're right. They are pulling your eye over to that one side. And I do see the blue halo on the tail. At first, it did not bother me. But the longer you do look at this image, it does become more of the main focus. And maybe if the image was slightly like cropped, tilted a little so that bed frame was on the perfect horizon, it would take him away from it as much. But I still absolutely love how baby is such a bright focus in this beautiful green setting. And the green is it's a complementary green on that, which can be really hard to do when you're shooting outdoors with like skin tones. And I like that the maker has been able to either edit or just being able to light this nicely enough to not have green casting back into baby's face here. But yes, I am going to take your critique into into my notes and yeah, see where we go from there. But I still think this is a fantastic image.
Great, thank you so much. And we will score this image at this time, please.
Done.
Done.
Thank you. With scores of 79, 83, and 85, this image will now have an overall score of 82. All right, moving to our next image, titled Cute Little Lamb.
All done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 84, 80, and 83, this image will have an overall score of 82, placing it in the silver category. Titled Fairy Tale Dreams.
Done.
All done.
Done.
Thank you. With scores of 84, 83, and 79, this image will have an overall score of 82, placing it in the silver category. Titled Lavender Dreams.
All done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 74, 74, and 79, this image will have an overall score of 76. And this image is up for paid critique, so we will hear from all of our judges, starting with Tara, please.
Okay. We have a beautiful scene here. I love how the child is kind of framed with the lavender on each side, and then we've got the lavender again in the basket. I love the windblown hair. I think that's super cute. And the things that hold this image back for me are the eyes definitely look like they have been manipulated in Photoshop, brightened and sharpened to the point that it looks a little unnatural, which doesn't flow with the rest of the image. I also feel like it's been desaturated overall, especially that background. Like the lavender, I know there is gray lavender as well, but I feel like this was purple lavender initially. And I'd love to see that brightness and natural color come out a little bit more. We also have a little bit of a blown out sky in the background there too, which doesn't always bother me, but when it's on an angle and it's kind of like a triangle in the top corner of the image there, I do find that distracting. And perhaps by just raising their camera angle a little bit, the maker could have avoided getting the sky in the background while still keeping the overall feel of this image and the framing that is working nicely. We've got a nice rule of thirds here, which is great. So for me, it was more about the color and the over processing.
Thank you. We'll head to Tamarind, please.
Okay, I agree with everything that Tara said. The things that stuck out to me were also just that it's sort of washed out, which is such a shame because, like Tara said, that purple probably would have popped so nicely, and it because the baby's wearing a white top or dress or whatever it is, because everything else is washed out, the baby really blends in. And I think if it wasn't, the baby would pop out and it would be absolutely beautiful. The placement of the baby in the image is fantastic. The leading line kind of going off to the back that looks like it was a pathway or something, is amazing. I agree about the eyes being over processed and over sharpened, even though this child has beautiful eyes. And yeah, the blown out sky, but I think bringing everything down and adding some contrast would really, really do this image very well. But it's beautiful and baby's beautiful.
Thank you so much. And we'll head to Tracy, please.
Thank you. I agree with absolutely everything that both you ladies have said. I don't mind a washed out, I would call it, light and airy. That is a brand that a lot of photographers have, and I'm going to call this light and airy. I like that the baby's shirt is not blown out. We have a blown out sky, but we don't have, we have detail still in that dress or that shirt that the baby is wearing. So for me, I didn't mind that it was a little overexposed or just bright. I love that leading line. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And clearly this was shot at a time of day where obviously there's no clouds, but you know, I'm gonna go, this is like high noon. So that sun is really coming in hot, and that can always be difficult when you're trying to shoot in a lavender field because it will wash out those colors. It won't give you those true tones. And I'm sure we've all done that. We know that shooting at sunset in a lavender field is going to make those colors true tone and beautiful. But when we have clear skies, we can face these challenges. But I love how this maker has cropped the image, and we're drawn right into that face and those eyes. Again, they are manipulated, but we are going right to baby's face and that smile, which is absolutely beautiful. The hair wispy. So there's a lot of details I love in this. Small things are definitely what held it back, and you know, that desaturation in the purples, it would have been really nice to see those, but overall I did think this was a sweet image and a beautiful capture.
Thank you so much. That's fabulous feedback. All right, we'll move to our next image titled Sweetest Dreams.
All done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 88, 80, and 88, this image will have an overall score of 85, placing it in the silver distinction category. Titled The Charming Look.
Done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 70, 76, and 71, this image has an overall score of 72. And this image does have paid critique. We will go to Tamarind, please, for feedback for this maker.
Thank you. So the things that I actually like about this image, first of all, anyone who photographs newborns knows how incredibly difficult it is to catch eye contact from them. Never mind eye contact and a smile. Like incredible, like great job. Probably a happy accident. That's what I usually call them. Um, so I love that part. I find the baby's skin tone is actually really, very nice. The purples are very complementary. The things that held it back for me were a little bit of the position of the baby, which is also just personal taste. So I'm not going to dive too far into that one. The eyes, we've lost the lighting in the eyes. So there's no light hitting the eyes, so that well, we can see them, they're very dark, which I think which can sometimes is a positioning of the baby thing and the lighting. And then I also would have either cropped this in a little tighter and or moved baby down further. So maybe just crop up from the bottom, because I find the baby's almost, well, she's kind of in the middle. She's actually, the way I see it is more middle top. So there's almost like too much at the bottom for me.
Thank you. And we will head to Tracy, please.
Thank you. What you said, Tamarind, is pretty much spot on. I do love the purple tone. Purple can be really difficult to work with it casting back into the skin, but the maker has done a beautiful job. at keeping that skin tone looking really nice against that purple. But the eyes is what did it for me. When we don't have those catch lights in the eyes, it is very, it like they're, you know, dead eyes is what we refer to them when we don't get those catch lights. And it becomes like a little bit more of a distraction because you're looking for the life in the eyes, and we don't have that in this. But the smile is very, very beautiful, and it's always nice to have those. And absolutely, parents are going to love this image regardless. I agree with the crop on this. I want to feel, I want baby to come down a little because then we don't have that like floating image vibe. So for cropping it a little tighter, that's going to take away from that for this image. But yes, anyone who does shoot newborns knows that positioning can be very difficult, and the maker has done a beautiful job at like placing the hand under the cheek and getting that, you know, the elbow to touch in on the knee there. I do like the little wrap on the end as well, but those small little details would really have upped the marking on this image, but something to look out for when you're shooting this again.
Thank you so much. And let's head to Tara.
All right, I agree with everything that's already been said as well. The maker's done a lovely job matching these purples, and the background's actually handled quite nicely. The wrap does catch my eye and bother me. It does look a little bit messy. We could have tucked it underneath baby a little bit more, or had it out a little more intentionally and shaped it a little bit more so that it looked like it was intentional. The eyes, definitely, we need a catch light in there. Would have been, it really would have elevated this image, I think, with a catch light in those eyes, because that's the first place that I'm looking, and it's kind of like a, I don't know how to describe it, but we're looking for that catch light. One thing that the maker could have done for the posing of this image is just shifted. We can see the baby kind of looks like she's lying on a bit of a hill there, with the main padding being under her hand, basically from elbow to eye. So we just shift that up a little bit more so it's more sort of under baby's temple. Then we get a nice little head tilt, and the baby looks like they are kind of snuggled in to themselves rather than looking like they're kind of going over this hill a little bit. So just a little shift in the stuff underneath the blanket to help with the pose there. And then another thing that caught my eye was that little pinky finger sticking out. It's kind of bent a little bit awkwardly, and I know baby fingers bend in all sorts of directions that look totally unnatural, but if we can make a little bit of effort to get it out flatter, and even if we can see 2 or 3 fingers, it kind of lets you know that that's a hand there rather than just having one digit sticking out. So I encourage this maker to continue. They are on the right path, and a few tweaks, and they will have some really amazing images to submit for competition next time.
Thank you so much, everyone. Our next image is titled Counting the Days.
Can we pause for a sec?
Yes. All right, a question was asked about clipped blacks, and we can confirm that there is a little bit of loss of detail in the image.
All done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 79, 75, and 83, this image will have an overall score of 79. Titled Sequins and Feathers.
Done.
Done.
All done.
Thank you. And with scores of 90, 89, and 85, this image will have an overall score of 88, placing it in the silver distinction category. Congratulations to this maker. Titled Double Beauty After the Storm.
Done.
Done.
All done.
Thank you. With scores of 79, 75, and 80, this image will have an overall score of 78.
Sounds good.
All right, and Tamarind is now on a break. Welcoming back Shailee. Our next image is titled A Vision of Unity.
Done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 93, 85, and 94, this image will have an overall score of 91, placing it in the gold category. Congratulations to this maker. Titled Purity.
Done.
Done.
Done. Done. Sorry.
Thank you. And with scores of 80, 79, and 79, this image will have an overall score of 79. Titled Farmer in Training.
Done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 80, 81, and 84, this image will have an overall score of 82, placing it in the silver category. Titled Mama Bear.
Done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 87, 84, and 82, this image will have an overall score of 84, placing it in the silver category. Titled Golden Girl.
Done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 78, 85, and 81, this image will have an overall score of 81, placing it in the silver category. Titled Porcelain Princess.
Done.
Done.
So sorry, was that all three?
Yes, I believe so.
Yep.
Thank you. With scores of 83, 90, and 79, this image will have an overall score of 84, placing it in the silver category. We do have an automatic challenge here with a greater than 10-point spread. So we will go to Shailee first, please, in the benefit of the maker.
I was very taken with this image. I think the impact is there. It looks very polished. The color harmony is there. I think the expression on her face is sweet, how she's like doing her hair. We see the little curls and the little details of the feathers around her neck. I'm really like captivated by her eyes, and I just really love everything about this. I think the background has been handled beautifully. It's been retouched in a very like elegant way. So yeah, that's why I scored it high.
Thank you. And we will head to Tracy, please, for critique.
Thank you. Perfect title on this. First of all, Porcelain Princess. You know exactly what that means. Her skin does have a porcelain texture to it. Excuse me. Sorry. Oh my gosh. I'm dying over here. So what held it back for me was the manipulated eye, specifically the one on the right side when we're looking at it. I feel it's been brightened, but it also has a yellow-red tone into it. The shadow on the side, that side of the face it's very saturated in comparison to the left side when viewing, and that took it away from the porcelain tone, overall tone that she was going for, or he was going for on this image. And the last thing was very technical, is the hair in between the arms. So the background has been changed. It looks like it was darkened and a texture added, but I can see through every single little piece of hair where it was not captured when they were manipulating that background. And so now we have all these little speckles and my eyes just kept bouncing like a ping pong back and forth in between her curls there. And very small details, but we have a feather coming right out of the armpit on the left hand side, which distracted me as well from bringing this mark up a little higher. Overall, I love where the maker was going with this. Beautiful model, beautiful dress, beautiful lighting, but that those little small details that really held it back for me on this image.
All right, thank you. And we will head back to Shailee, please, for rebuttal.
Gosh, yes, yes, I did not see those little, areas that are different in between the gaps in her hair. What a shame. Yeah, zooming in and taking care of that would have really been very beneficial. The little feathers coming out of the armpit. I can't unsee it now. It didn't bother me initially. I don't see, Tracy, what you were saying about the discoloration near the eye. I see it as a little darker, but I still think that the lighting is very pretty and very beautiful, and definitely is at least in the silver award category. So I would encourage, perhaps a slightly higher score, but I will be reviewing my score as well.
All right, thank you. At this time, I will ask our judges to rescore this image.
Done.
Then
Is that all three? Sorry.
Done.
Thank you. And with scores of 81, 84, and 80, this image will have an overall score of 82 and will remain in the silver category. Our next image is titled A Stroll with Bun.
done.
Done.
Thank you. With scores of 71, 80, and 74, this image will have an overall score of 75. Titled Athena, Goddess of Wisdom.
Done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 78, 80, and 75, this image has an overall score of 78. And we do have paid critique here, so we will go to Shailee first, please.
I think the color harmony in this image is really pretty. I think the outfit and the headband and all the little details and the background really go very nicely together. Some of the things that held me back are like a little bit of like haloing around baby's head in the background. We kind of go from like maybe an added texture or maybe some noise that's been added to kind of maybe cover up some banding perhaps, but then we have kind of a harsh line where that stops next to the body on the left-hand side there. And we're shooting up the nose just a little bit. I would probably change the camera angle to just be getting over the top of baby a little bit more. So we've got the focus on baby's beautiful face instead of the feet being a little bit more prominent in the image. But other than that, I think the posing and everything is very, very sweet. And yeah.
Thank you. And we will move to Tara, please.
I agree with everything that Shailee said. The styling here is very sweet. I love how everything matches. You do have a little bit of brightness, blown out areas on the flowers on the headband, it appears. And also with the background manipulation, it almost looks like baby's floating. I see a little bit of shadow on each side, but not really so much at the bottom. So it's giving this weird sort of optical illusion. And I feel like the crop of this image also isn't doing it any benefit. We have a lot of blank space on either side, which again just sort of contributes to that floating feeling with baby in the middle and not really having a solid idea of where the light is coming from according to the background. On baby's face, I can see that we do have shadow on our right side. But her face overall is fairly flat lit, so I'd like to see a little bit more dimension in there as well. But very sweet image. I'm sure the parents absolutely adored it. She's a cutie.
Thank you so much. And we'll head to Tracy, please.
Thank you. I'm not sure if there's anything more left to say. I think ladies have pretty much said exactly what I would have said. And I don't want to repeat myself. One tiny more adjustment on this is baby's head past the headband there, a little on the red tone side. And that's just typical of newborns. Sometimes just desaturating that a little takes away from that saturation. But yeah, love the blue tones. And one tiny little thing, I know babies always have like a little purple or pink feet. Sometimes we manipulate that and change the color tone. Sometimes we don't. I feel this image, if we had just taken the one foot that is pointing towards the camera and just lighten that and kind of match the tone to the other foot, would have had a little more of a cohesive skin tone. That's all.
Thank you so much. Our next image is titled Lavender High.
Done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 79, 79, and 71, this image will have an overall score of 76. Titled Newborn Kisses.
Done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 77, 83, and 71. And this will be an automatic challenge with a greater than 10-point spread. So we will speak in the benefit of the maker first, please, and we'll hear from Shailee.
I think the impact was there for me with this image. I, thought that the lighting was really interesting with that rim lighting around the hair, and just the obvious joy and like genuine emotion that was captured between a mother and her baby. And the expression on the baby's face really made me smile. And it's it's a little bit funny how the nose is kind of pushed up like that, but like that's a pretty cool capture, and I'm sure the mom absolutely loved it. Like and technically I think it's very nicely done. We have this kind of hazy framing around it. Maybe she's a little bit off to the right. I think that the skin tones are handled nicely, and everything is quite cohesive. So that's why I scored it the way that I did. I'm curious to see what the other judges have to say as to the scores that they gave.
Thank you so much. And we will go to Tracy, please, for critique.
Thank you. Yeah, at first glance, the impact, I absolutely adored it. I loved the little nose pushed up as well, mom's smile. I do love the backlit on this as well. But after the initial impact, I pulled back, and there's so much happening in this image that it really took away from the initial impact. We have flowers. I thought it was smoke, like dry ice coming up from the bottom. And then I thought there was clouds coming in, and I know now that it's probably floral in the foreground that is out of focus. But the longer I looked at it, I thought it looks like muddy clouds on the top, and then it does look like smoke coming up from the bottom, and then just the flowers a little too close to mom and baby when we're viewing on the left hand side. And I don't know if there was any manipulation or some dodging and burning that happened, but mom's arm that is holding baby there, you can kind of see I don't know if the floral is out of focus or if there's just a haze put over top of it. And then that one floral that's just stabbing baby in the back of the head really distracted me from mom and baby, but also draws me out to look at what's happening around them. And it pulled a lot away from me in terms of the whole image overall. So that really took the score down for me. One last thing is we see that back shoulder on mom is really saturated. So it's like really orange. And so when I'm looking at mom and baby, I'm pulled right into the background on that shoulder there. And yeah, again, the expression is really cute. That must have been a really fun shoot. I love using lots of props as well. This just felt a little like it was too much. Takes away from the subjects.
All right, thank you. And we will head back to Shailee, please, for rebuttal.
You know what? I do agree with a lot of the things that you said there, Tracy. So you're absolutely right. There's a lot going on, and that mom and that baby together and what's happening between them, that's probably enough. I don't think that, I still think it's a solid technical image in terms of lighting and focus and all of that. I think, maybe the haze is a little bit, heavy-handed, perhaps. But, I think personally for me, I think it still sits in the the deserving of a merit category, but I will be taking all of that into consideration when I rescore my image.
Yeah, one more thing. I agree with what you're saying. Is like mom and baby, that was enough. And honestly, when I hold my hands up and I crop with my hands just around mom and baby, freaking love it. Like that's all it needed to be. And I almost want to just crop it right now and just be like, yes, that's all done. But taking again, when I take it away and I see the rest of the image, it just took it away from me. Personally, this like that was a little too much going on.
All right, thank you. And we will take a moment and rescore the image now, please.
Then
Done.
Done.
Thank you. With scores of 77, 81, and 73, this image will have an overall score of 77. Titled Safe in Our Hands.
Done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 78, 73, and 71, we have an overall score of 74. Our next image is titled Living the Moment.
Done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 85, 82, and 84, this image will have an overall score of 84, placing it in the silver category. Titled Pure Wonder.
Done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 72, 82, and 72, this image has an overall score of 75. We do have a 10-point spread on our scores here, so we will go to the benefit of the maker first, please, and hearing from Shailee.
The things that I really liked about this image is the how beautiful and focused the baby's eyes are. They really draw you in. We see nice catch lights there. The lighting is very pretty coming in from the back there. It creates a lot of depth in the image. The colors are quite pretty. What kept it from going even higher for me is the highlights are a little, a little bright, and there are some funny gray skin tones, maybe even a little bit of green in the shadows. But I still felt like that everything else, the posing, the expression, the focus, for me was enough to get it into the Silver Award deserving of a merit category. So that's where I landed for this.
Thank you. And let's hear from Tara, please, for critique.
Yeah, I agree that the eye contact here is beautiful. Anytime you can get a newborn looking right at your camera, it's always a special little moment, and parents adore that, of course. For me, what held this image back is number one, a lot of blue tones seem to be sneaking in here. Can't quite figure out why, if we maybe have like a mixed lighting scenario where we're using strobe light, but there's also some daylight coming in. I see a lot of blue in baby's hair, in the headband, and then also at the other end, looks like there's a blue cast coming onto the wrap around baby's bottom there. I do feel like the light also could have been brought around to the front a little bit more. It's almost coming from too far behind. And we can see that in sort of the placement of the catch light. I can see one of the catch lights in the top eye there. We can see that that's coming from the light, but we don't really have that catch light in the bottom light. It's more of just a reflection of whatever else was happening in the room. And as far as the crop, I feel like could have used a little bit more breathing room around baby. It's quite a tight crop, and a little bit more space would have just felt a little more comfortable on the eye. The wrap in the background also potentially could have been styled a little bit differently, that would have been a little more pleasing and less distracting. I'm not sure if they were trying to make it look like the baby was hanging, or I'm just not quite sure of the purpose there of having it tied and then the strands kind of coming up and out the top of the image. And again, I see a little bit of blue tone on that right side. So for me, the lighting and the overall color balance and control of the color and where the light was coming from, or what sort of light we have going on here, that's really what held this image back for me.
And we'll head back to Shailee for rebuttal, please.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with those, the color cast perhaps maybe coming in the shadows. I think that the lighting was intentional in this image. I think it is like backlit, and if baby's face was rotated facing up or back, then it would have been appropriately lit. But baby woke up and looked at the photographer and gave that amazing eye contact. So I think maybe it wasn't exactly what they were going for, but I think it's still a lovely capture, and I still think it's deserving of a merit. But I absolutely agree with the things that were said before. Yeah.
Thank you. We'll take this time to rescore the image, please.
Done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 72, 80, and 72, this image will have an overall score of 75. We do have paid critique on this image, and we have not yet heard from Tracy. So I will go to Tracy, please, to speak to the maker.
Thank you. What the ladies have said when they were in their little challenge was exactly what I would have said as well. I love the expression on baby. I love the eye contact, but that lighting that is coming from slightly behind can cause a little bit of distraction because we have all those front-facing shadows coming at us, but also causing baby's skin to be a little more on the pinky hue side, which is okay, but contrasted with those blue tones that Tara mentioned, becomes a little bit of a distraction there. Cropping that image a little different, just like literally rotating it so that baby's eyes are and head is more upright, I think would have given this image a little just a better view, only because right now it feels like baby's kind of falling off to the left here. The wrap that we have in the background, I'm not sure. Yeah, Tara mentioned she wasn't sure what the maker was going for here. Maybe it was originally going to be hidden because of the angle they were going for, and maybe baby woke up and they're like, boom, gorgeous, let's get this eye contact image. Yeah, almost like if because it's coming out like a V, our eye is kind of being pulled back to the corner of baby, like the middle of baby there. But I love where the maker was going with this. Wrapping up babies like this can be difficult, especially when they like to wake up on us. And this maker definitely had the right placement where the hands are tucked down in. And you know that when that baby was sleeping, it would have been this perfect little ball. But as soon as they wake up, it's like, boom, hello, here I am. And it's still a gorgeous image. Even with baby being awake and starting to move, you can tell it was still fantastic. But maybe darkening some of these highlights and just working on the crop, but keeping up with what this maker is going for, because I do like the image overall. I think they knew what they're doing, but those tiny tweaks would have helped bring this image up to the next level.
Thank you. And does anyone have anything that they would like to add in commentary that they did not get to speak to in their challenge?
No, I think we covered it all.
Nope.
All right, fantastic. We'll move to our next image titled Daddy's Roller Coaster Got Real.
Done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 90, 83, and 80, this image has an overall score of 84, placing it in the silver category. We do have a 10-point spread here. So we will go in the benefit of the maker to Tara first, please.
Yes. All right. So immediately you're drawn into this image with the expression of dad being kind of goofy. You can just imagine he's like a super fun dad who's bouncing her up and down on his shoulders. And then her expression is just so adorable. She loves her dad. Her eyes are so bright. That catchlight's beautiful. The little baby teeth always get me too. Super cute. Her hair is adorable. She's dressed up like a little princess, like daddy's little girl. The black and white conversion is beautiful. I'm not noticing maybe the bottom right corner a little bit blown out. But it looks like there is still detail throughout the image. It's a gorgeous conversion. The light is beautiful. We've got the highlight side, shadow side. It's all very flattering. There's something else I was going to say. I can't think of what it was now. Oh, the only distraction I find in this image is dad's watch, but other than that, there wasn't anything that I could see that would bring it down below where I had it now.
All right, thank you. And we will head to Tracy, please, for critique.
Yeah, thank you. I agree, Tara. I loved the impact of this image right away. I was drawn into the little girl and her dad. It's fun. It's really fun. The blown out one side killed me on this. Just I really want to bring in a linear line and just darken that one side of the shirt and the wrist there so that dad's watch is not so distracting and it doesn't look like he's like a floating hand. And this is a minor one. The title, Daddy's Roller Coaster Got Real. Titles are very important and they can really put something in your mind. And then when you see a very still image like this, if dad was holding her hands up, she was almost falling. She's almost upside down, or he's throwing her in the air, or something along the lines of that is where I go with that title. And now I'm not going to nitpick over. I didn't judge based on the title. I just want to mention that. That can really, it can alter things for sure, because I'm looking for an action shot where this is more just of a cute pose shot. But I still love it. I mean, it's so cute. Obviously, she looks like daddy, which I love too. I love the black and white. So the more I look at it, the more I love the creaminess that they've done. And I know it's like we're like a muted black and white. So our blacks aren't super black and our whites aren't super white, except for that blown out area. But overall, it's so creamy, which I absolutely love. And I do like that it is like, I want to see a different crop. I wanted to pull out a little more almost. Maybe that's the title again getting me. I wanted to see more of this image. But I'm going to take everything you've said as well. And the longer I look at it, the more I get to see more of the joyful face that she's giving and just the impact that this has.
Thank you. We'll head back to Tara for rebuttal.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you said as well. I do see detail though, almost right to the very edge in his sleeve though. So I didn't want to dock too much for that, though it is definitely brighter than other areas of the image. I don't think it's actually fully blown out. Again, the expressions, like you're talking about the title, and I almost expected her expression to be a little bit more of like a surprised kind of exhilarated look as well, but she's so sweet. I didn't want to take too much away from that. I got the idea that like the roller coaster, she's on his shoulders, and we have that kind of motion there, even if we don't see them in motion. So overall, just the impact of this image was so incredibly strong for me. The soft, like porcelain skin of hers in contrast to dad's goofier expression and the texture in his skin. The contrast and also just the overall feel of this for me was just very strong impact and very little technical details that would outweigh that.
All right, thank you. And at this point, we will rescore this image.
Done.
Done.
Oh, done. Sorry.
Sorry, thank you. Okay, and with scores of 89, 85, and 85, this image will have an overall score of 86, placing it in the silver distinction category. Our next image is titled Smiley Sweetheart.
Done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 77, 79, and 82, this image will have an overall score of 79. Titled One Upon a Time.
Done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 76, 79, and 83, this image will have an overall score of 79. All right, and we welcome Tamarind back. Tracy is now on a break. Our next image is titled The Purity. Feel free to enter your scores.
All done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 86, 83, and 80, this image will have an overall score of 83, placing it in the silver category. Our next image is titled Wrapped in Innocence.
All done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 83, 82, and 84, this image will have an overall score of 83, placing it in the silver category. Titled Bread Eyes, Happy Toes.
All done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 86, 84, and 84, this image will have an overall score of 85, placing it in the silver distinction category. Congrats to this maker. Titled Tiny Teddies.
All done.
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 Thank you. Scores of 84, 80, and 84. This image will have an overall score of 83, placing it in the silver category. Titled She Dreams in Purple.
All done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 84, 78, and 81, this image will have an overall score of 81, placing it in the silver category. Titled Confident.
All done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 78, 76, and 84, this image will have an overall score of 79. Titled A Moment of Stillness.
All done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 85, 86, and 84, this image will have an overall score of 85, placing it in the silver distinction category. Congrats to this maker. Titled The Guardian of a New Life.
All done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 80, 80, and 80, this image will have an overall score of 80, placing it in the silver category. Titled Children Are Hope.
Done.
Done.
Sorry, I'm all done. I'm not sure if that came through.
Nope, thank you. And with scores of 74, 83, and 75, this image will have an overall score of 77. All right, and this image is a paid critique. Let's head to Tamarind, please.
Thanks. So again, there's been other images where I'm very impressed with the photographer's ability to capture hard things. So with a newborn who looks very, very sleepy and two siblings who look old enough to cooperate, but you know, we never know how that's going to go. I thought this was really sweet how they also connected all of the children, like physically, which I thought was actually really cool. Yeah, I liked it. I thought they did a really good job lighting it. There wasn't anything that jumped out at me personally. It's obviously hard to light when somebody's upright and somebody's upside down. Um, but yeah, I just thought it was a really sweet image. Everyone looks happy and peaceful, and it made me smile.
Thank you so much. And we'll head to Tara, please.
Yes, I agree that this image would be very difficult to try and capture, and the maker has done a lot of things quite nicely. The posing of everybody and lighting it in a way that somehow nobody is obviously uplit is really amazing. So I love that. The pose is super sweet. I love how they're all connected with the hands. Everybody's touching and connected in that way, and it creates this nice sort of like round composition where your eye keeps kind of floating around the middle through all the different connections. The things that held this image back for me are the blue tones in the white and the little bit of blown outness on baby's wrap, whereas we see more detail in the girls' dresses. And then we have this hot spot on the left side of the wrap there with baby. A little bit of blue tone in the skin as well on the girls, in particular in their arms, that would have been nice to see that warmed up a little bit. And then the other thing that I was looking at is it appears that the girls' eyes potentially are not the sharpest point in the image. I feel like what has happened is the makers focused on the baby's eyes, but the girls, because they're older, they're up a little bit higher, they are falling just in front of that focal plane a little bit, because it does look like the headbands are sharp and their hair looks like it's sharp. So if we look like on the forehead and right at the eyes, it just doesn't look quite as crisp. So whether they were to focus on the girl's eyes instead, and then the baby's eyes should also be in focus, or just increasing the f-stop to get a little bit more within that focal plane, that would have helped out here a little bit as well. But the main things for me were the blue tones that we see kind of throughout the image, and especially in those whites.
Thank you. And we'll head to Shailee, please.
I think the other judges have really said everything that I was seeing in this image. The main thing for me was the very cool tones, the blueness in the whites, and the skin tones. I just would have loved to have seen the skin tones a little warmer, a little bit more pink in their skin. They're quite gray. So, but yeah, totally agree with the beautiful lighting and the composition. Like, such a good job with that.
Thank you. Our next image is titled Little Miss Bright Eyes.
All done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 85, 88, and 85, this image will have an overall score of 86, placing it in the silver distinction category. Congratulations to the maker. Titled Here Fishy Fishy.
Well done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 79, 82, and 80, this image will have an overall score of 80, placing it in the silver category. Titled Step into the Spotlight.
Well done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 82, 83, and 85, this image will have an overall score of 83, placing it in the silver category. Titled Sleeping Princess.
Well done.
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 Thank you. With scores of 83, 83, and 79, this image will have an overall score of 82, placing it in the silver category. This is a paid critique, so we'll go to Shailee, please, for commentary.
I think that this little baby is very well posed here. We've got the focus on the face, those eyes and lips are like really nicely in focus. I like the styling. I like all the colors. We don't often see like super bright colors with newborns, so I think it's really nice. Using bright colors can be tricky because it does put a bit of a color cast on baby. So perhaps that is what's going on there, because the skin is a little orangey yellow. Maybe the white balance is just a little too warm. I'm not sure, but I think if the skin tone was not quite as warm, it would have scored higher for me and pushing it into the deserving of a merit category, but maybe I was a little too harsh.
Thank you. And we will head to Tara, please.
It's such a sweet little expression on this baby and very cute styling with the reds and the little bonnet detail. The things that held this back for me, like Shailee said, would be the skin tone and sort of different areas with different colors and brightness levels. The nose looks like it's the brightest part of anywhere on her skin, so just toning that down would have been helpful. And the crop and sort of the angle, I guess, she almost looks like she is falling down, but then her head is tilted back up. So I think a little bit of a rotation to make her look like she was not sliding down, or I'm not sure how to describe it even, but this feels like a bit of an awkward angle. And then for the crop, we have a very center weighted crop. So just dropping her down more into the bottom third of the frame would help to give it a bit of weight and not have her look like she's floating in the middle, and give it a bit of breathing room on the top portion of the image as well. But overall, it's a super sweet image, and there's lots of good stuff going on here.
Thank you, Tara. And we'll head to Tamarind, please.
Yeah, I agree. I saw the same things. The skin tone, I wasn't 100% sure. I was sort of staring at it for a bit, because again, I'm sure we've all had this, but I've definitely had babies with skin tones that I know are their natural, but sometimes in camera, it's almost like, is it like slightly jaundiced? Is it, I don't know. So I was trying to look past the skin tone for that reason, because I don't know the background of the baby and if it's an accurate skin tone. I love the red. Not many babies get photographed on red, and I absolutely think it's gorgeous. The smirk is amazing. What a great capture. And Tara, I agree definitely with what you're saying about the angle of the baby. So what I would have done is actually just, while also cropping so that the baby was more anchored to slightly more to the bottom of the frame, I would have tilted it so the head is a little bit higher than the feet. So just like rotate it, or even just at the same level as the feet. I think it would make the baby feel less like she's sort of falling down. But it's a beautiful image. The fingers are so gorgeously relaxed. There's not always an easy pose to do with the wrapping depending on the baby. So this maker's done a really great job.
All right, thank you so much. Welcoming back Tracy as Shailee is on a break. Our next image is titled Simply Soulful.
I have a question.
All right, just a moment. All right, a question was just around styling and whether this emulated another image, but it does not.
All done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 79, 88, and 72, this image will have an overall score of 80. We do have larger than a 10-point spread, so this will go to an automatic challenge. And we will hear in the benefit of the maker first, please, from Tamarind.
Yeah, that's a huge difference. Okay, so I thought, I mean, this image almost kind of made me gasp a little bit because it was so beautiful. I can see that there's a little bit of highlighting on the baby's face. But the eye contact and the eyes are maybe like a little overdone, but I also know that that can be a style that people do, so I wasn't going to overly focus on it. I can't, sorry, I can't tell if there's like some banding in the background or if that's just my screen. So anyways, the purple tones and even like the green popping out, which is like, I think it's complementary to purple, so it's beautiful. And the eye contact and this baby's face. I mean, you just want to eat her cheeks. They're adorable. So I don't know. It really struck me. I love this image.
Thank you. Just to pop in, yes, you are seeing banding. I was just checking the high res.
Okay, there we go. Because I can't see it as well when I'm flipping back and forth. I can see it on one part, but I can't see it on like the other screen. So thank you for confirming that.
No problem. We will go to Tracy, please, for critique.
Awesome, thank you. I love the eye contact. That was the first impact that I had here as well. It's just wow. And those chubby cheeks. What held it for me was it looks like there's like there is banding, but like an actual like color difference line that goes right across the back of where her shoulder line is there, like a lighter color.
I can confirm that that also is there in the high res file.
Okay. Yeah, so it just that felt really funny in the background there to like as if it was manipulated a little more or they were trying to smooth out the background. And then with that, there is some like cloning maybe or softening of the hairline, which became really distracting on the very edges there. And I feel like, you know, if you're gonna manipulate the hair, maybe like that one little bump that comes out on the left hand side, like even it out to the right hand side if you're gonna start cloning in and start like warping, because we do have a lot of like little warping kind of banding as well as around the hairline. Great tip though, if you select your hair in Photoshop and you just hit AI or the AI generate, boom, it'll automatically give you a clean line. Oh, it's gorgeous. That's just a side note there. And then the other part that held it back for me is the skin tone on the chest in comparison to the face and then into the arms. We have 3 different tones. We have orange arms, and then we have like a pale neckline, and then we have the really rosy cheeks and the more saturated face. So seeing those 3 different tones pulled it away from me with the highlighted chest of the purple really drew attention to that neckline being a different tone overall. But I love the expression that this little newborn has given me in these like perfect little adorable lips. I love the coloring on the face, absolutely. I think that they nailed that like really creamy look, even with the little highlight there. I'm okay with that. I think it's cute and shiny.
All right, thank you. We will head back for rebuttal from Tamarind.
Yeah. So I absolutely can see what Tracy was saying for sure. I didn't notice that sort of whiter line in behind at first, and so but I can definitely see it now. I am not seeing the cloning in the hair, but it's not I think it's just also not my editing style, so I don't necessarily know what to look for. So that's probably something I'm just going to miss. And I definitely see the paleness in the neck. The arms didn't draw me as much, but I can definitely see the issue with the neck a little bit. So yeah, thanks for sharing that, Tracy.
All right, we will rescore this image at this time.
Done.
That was a tiny.
So sorry, was that all 3?
I'm done.
Yep.
All right, and with scores of 79, 82, and 74, this image will have an overall score of 78. Our next image is titled Lady in Red.
Hold on.
Done.
Done.
Thank you. And with scores of 90, 82, and 95, This image will have an overall score of 89, placing it in the silver distinction category. We do have an over 10-point spread here, so we will go to automatic challenge, and we'll hear in the benefit of the maker from Tracey first, please.
Okay, thank you. This image is stunning. I think it's there's nothing I can tweak more than just saying it was like absolutely amazing. Everything from the way she is looking down the side of her to the toe point. We know she's pregnant because the fabric is creating that little bump out towards us. The flow of the fabric going off into the shadows. How we have a beautiful vignette. Her perfect hair, makeup, everything on this is stunning and perfect. The lighting is absolutely fantastic, and how it dropped so beautifully all the way down to her toe. A lot of the times when we're lighting a full body, we can lose detail in like from the knee down, and we can see clipping or just like some muddy lighting by the time it hits the floor. But this, it's perfect. It's absolutely gorgeous. And like I absolutely think this is an amazing image, and I encourage you to raise your merit, or it definitely deserves a merit. It's in merit already, but I think it deserves a higher score, because I think it's just so much attention to detail to create everything that has happened here is like absolutely fantastic. Well, I think this is a well done image.
Thank you so much, and we'll head to Tamarind, please.
Thanks. I agree, Tracey. I mean, it is stunning. I mean, this photographer is obviously extremely talented. I'm not sure if Stephanie, if you can confirm if there's banding, because that was one of the things that really jumped out to me. I was looking on both screens, and I think I could see that, but a confirmation would be very helpful if you're able to look.
Sure, just one moment. I've had a chance to confirm in the high res file, and no, there's no banding.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right. So I guess we'll head back to Tracey for rebuttal.
Awesome. Yeah, I didn't see any banding either. So I would, yes, encourage anyone who wanted to raise their marks on this image. I think it is deserving of a higher mark here. I also want to just point out shooting in red on red. We all know that is so difficult. That was mentioned with that newborn a few images back, because it can cause so much casting into the skin tone. And this maker has handled that so well. I'm obsessed with this image. I think it is worthy of a higher mark.
All right, thank you. We will rescore now.
All done.
Oh, I'm done.
Was that all three?
Yes, I believe so.
Yep.
Okay, wonderful. All right. And with scores of 92, 92, and 95, this image will have an overall score of 93, placing it in the gold category. Congratulations to this maker. Our next image is titled Keeping It Cute.
All done.
I'm done.
Done.
Thank you. And with scores of 85, 85, and 86. This image will have an overall score of 85. That places it in silver distinction. Congratulations to this maker. Our next image is titled An Irresistible Smile.
Done.
All done.
Done.
All right, thank you. And with scores of 84, 81, and 86, this image will have an overall score of 84, placing it in the silver category. Our next image is titled Mom and Dad's Best Christmas Present.
All done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 87, 87, and 85, this image will have an overall score of 86, placing it in silver distinction. Congrats to this maker. Titled Sleeping Princess.
All done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 79, 78, and 82, this image will have an overall score of 80, placing it in the silver category. All right, we welcome back Shailee as Tara is on a break. Our next image is titled Comparing Daisies.
Done.
All done.
Sorry, was that all three?
Yes.
Okay. And with scores of 79, 83, and 79, this image will have an overall score of 80, placing it in the silver category. Our next image is titled Baby Bunny.
All done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 83, 82, and 78, this image will have an overall score of 81, placing it in the silver category. Titled Backpack Buddy.
Done.
All done.
Done.
Thank you. And with scores of 82, 83, and 80, this image will have an overall score of 82, placing it in the silver category. Our next image is titled Platypus.
All done.
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 Thank you. And with scores of 80, 85, and 79, this image has an overall score of 81, placing it in the silver category. All right, this image has a paid critique. So let's please go to Tamarind for feedback for this maker.
Thanks. This is adorable. I don't know why, but somehow the name of the image and the baby's silly little mouth face situation, I don't know why they work, but they do. So well done naming this image. I love the crop on this actually, for whatever reason. It's just there's something about the head and shoulders that really just makes you focus in on this baby's eyes and his mouth. There's something about his mouth that's just so funny. Um, I like that we can see the catch lights. Um, yeah, it sort of made me smile, which was great. I really like this image. Well done.
Thank you. And we will head to Tracy, please.
Awesome, thank you. I agree. I love the name. The name of the piece is perfect. It actually is exactly what you expect to see actually in the baby with the little mouth expression is really cute. And what held it back for me on this one was the corner of the mouth looks like it was a little manipulated, like warped maybe, because it's out of focus as opposed to, like, if you're looking at it, the left side is sharp, and then if you go to the right side, it's gone out of focus. And I'm not sure if that was just because of a manipulation or if it was just, I'm not quite sure on what happened there. And so I was drawn into that because of the name. I'm looking right at the mouth and the expression, and I can see that we are out of focus on that corner of the mouth. And I love that it's in black and white. I think it's a great choice for this. And the control of the white background into the foreground is really, really nice. I think they've done a really good job on that. The right side, that eye would have been nice to see that a little brighter, so just match the other one. But that held it back a little for me as well on that. Cutie patootie.
Thank you. We'll head to Shailee, please.
I think the other judges have said everything that I can see and think of in this image. My initial reaction was I had a little chuckle because that mouth expression just matches the title perfectly. But yeah, looking at the side of the mouth, it bothers me that it's a little bit out of focus when we see that that specular highlight on the other side of the mouth being so sharp. So it's just a little bit confusing in my brain, and like my eye just keeps getting drawn to that. And the other thing, and I think this is just a personal preference, that I like black and whites like this to be just maybe like a little bit more contrast, like those highlights on the baby just maybe a little bit brighter. But that's super nitpicking. And yeah, maybe just with a little bit more punchiness, this would have scored higher for me. But yeah, well done.
All right, thank you so much. All right, our next image is titled Cozy Sleep.
All done.
I'm done.
Done.
All right, and with scores of 81, 78, and 80, this image will have an overall score of 80, putting it in the silver category. Our next image is titled Furry Friends.
All done.
Done.
I'm done.
Thank you. And with scores of 83, 84, and 83, this image will have an overall score of 83, placing it in the silver category. Titled Dreamy.
Done.
All done.
Done.
Thank you. With scores of 90, 95, and 88, this image will have an overall score of 91, placing it in the gold category. Congrats to this maker. And titled In the Clouds.
All done.
Done.
Thank you. With scores of 80, 82, and 82, this image will have an overall score of 81, placing it in the silver category. And that brings us to the end of judging for this round of competition.